Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Daily Bone podcast, where we discuss all things crypto market. That includes the majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, meme coins, and of course, NFTs. Today, we're going to discuss yesterday's Fed rate cuts and the ensuing crypto market pump, a new game announcement from Yuga Labs, and the new Seeker phone coming from Solana Mobile with all of the additional upgrades and partnerships that come along with it. What a day yesterday. What a day. We saw the Fed cut rates 50 bips. The market responded well. It didn't die. Awesome stuff to see. Kicks, how you feeling today? Kicks, you're muted.
Oh, shit. You unmuted me. I remuted myself because I was dealing with the Twitter spaces. I said, I'm doing phenomenal. I said, you can refer to me as Nose Strip Neo today. Extra locked in, ready to rumble, had a protein smoothie. Slept in until 7:15, feeling phenomenal.
Love to hear it, NSN. Sig, how you feeling? Sig? Oh, no. Frozen? Am I getting the silent treatment from Signal? Can she not hear me?
I think she definitely, maybe she was trying to make some Polymarket trades on her VPN, you know?
Yeah. All right, it's all good. It's all good. We can kick.
We'll get her back in the studio.
Yeah. We'll move her down for a minute. Awesome stuff yesterday. Why don't we just kick it right off with the weather report if you want to knock that out. Signal be back.
Dude, you got it, coach. You got it, man.
Let's do it.
All right, I'm ready to rumble. Let me tab over to here and look at this beautiful thing created by you. Today is Thursday, September 19th. Man, it's a hell of a day. Remember, September 19th, the majors rallied on the back of rate cut news with Bitcoin up to 63K. We haven't seen that in a while. Ethereum, 2450, almost back at 2500, and Solana at 140. The leader was, of course, a meme coin. Popcat is up a whopping 35% on the day to a $900 million market cap. Over the past 24 hours, the Fed cut rates 50 basis points in their first rate cut since the current hiking cycle began in 2022. Prediction market are pricing in 2 more rate cuts of 25 BPS each, one in November, one in December. Next up, Solana Mobile revealed their new Seeker phone. The phone boasts improved hardware and a lower price point in addition to new partnerships. Airdrop protocol by Helios Labs was announced and would reduce the cost to airdrop tokens to Solana Mobile customers by 4,000 times. Can you even think about? That's like 99.995% reduction in the cost of you getting free money on your Seeker phone. They raised $70 million in pre-sales for this phone. They're pretty much a hardware company. Like, watch out, Apple. These guys making phones now. Finally, Donald Trump used Bitcoin to pay for burgers in a New York City bar. This marks the first known cryptocurrency purchased by a current or former president. That's it for the weather report. Back to you in the studio.
Great weather report as always, Kicks. I just wanted to go right into this, like as we were talking about it, and just like watch the confusion that's going on with this purchase. Like there's like fumbling around here. I'm showing a video of Trump actually making the purchase in the bar. There's 2 other guys here who are like trying to like take the picture of the QR code. I'm pretty sure his private key is now exposed. Like this is like a wild interaction to actually see it go down. Everyone's cheering.
Yeah, and anyone that's made a trade on Bitcoin knows that there's no way that transaction went through during that awkward 45 seconds right there.
You just know Secret Service came back and settled in cash.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, Donald's just sitting there. He's like, what the fuck is going on, dude? Like, it's like, can I just give you a $10 bill? I think that's faster.
It's great. Like I feel like he's like absolutely set up to like just bash it if it like turns south, because he's gonna be like, it's so difficult, blah 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 blah. Another good soundbite here. Calling them crypto burgers.
They make them good here.
Yeah.
This is a crypto burger. No, it's a Bitcoin burger. Actually, you should name them Name a Bitcoin and a crypto.
Yeah, dude. Little did he know how triggering that is to people that are at a Bitcoin burger joint calling it crypto. Like, imagine PL. You know what I mean? He'd be like, Mr. President. Okay, crypto and Bitcoin are different, man. Okay, you know, like a crypto burger, that's like a veggie burger, dude. Okay, like this is a Bitcoin burger. It's made with beef, dude.
There is no second burger.
Grass-fed beef, grass-fed beef from Europe, from the
Grass-fed.
mountains, where the cows don't get given any antibiotics. It is a
On the
Bitcoin
mountains of
burger.
Bhutan.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely crazy stuff. Awesome to see like it in the mainstream media. As we say, like any adoption, I feel like is good adoption at this point.
Yes.
Just cool to see. I'm gonna go over some quick hitters here. We're gonna change up the format a little bit. I'm just gonna hit some quick hitters here on some news from the day, and then we're gonna jump into some of the bigger topics. We saw a huge X copy sale yesterday. 300 Ethereum for a edition of 6, which is interesting. We've seen a lot of the one-on-one sell, but this is an edition of 6, 730K. Look at that beautiful X copy artwork.
Yeah, I can see
there.
why.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, that's just, I mean, understands, makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, Louisiana became the first state to officially accept crypto payments. And what was the first transaction? Of course, it was a hunting license purchased with Bitcoin. So U.S. states coming around, more and more adoption. I think we're going to see more stories like this coming out of the woodwork. We saw blockchain infrastructure firm Blockdaemon. They're looking at a 2026 IPO. So we're seeing more companies debate, going public in the US, which is nice, especially if regulation can kind of soften a bit. This one I might want to touch on a bit. Did you see the massive Twitter hack from yesterday? Like
I saw a tweet about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so apparently like a number of like big accounts got hacked. Lenovo's India division, Oliver Stone, the film director, Yahoo News UK, Neymar Jr., and they all like pointed to the same meme coin on Solana called Hacked. I didn't even look at the price action on this. I can't imagine it was like doing well, but they like put the same post on each account, and they're like saying the idea behind it is like, hey, we hacked all these accounts and we made this hacked meme coin. So great to see that Twitter still can't manage. I don't know if it's just like encryption or employees or like some sort of security over there, but it's absolutely wild, like how many of these big name celebrities like continue to get just SIM swapped and hacked.
Who like which one of the hackers' idea was that? That's got to be like the stupidest idea I've ever heard, because it's like, who's like, man, these guys are like piece of shit hackers. Like, I want to be a part of their community. Like, so I definitely want to buy this token. You know what I mean? Like the logic flaw there. Like they must really not think that they're like pieces of shit, I guess.
Like, are you saying the people buying the token?
No, not like the people that came up with this idea. Because it's one thing to like hack Oliver Stone's account and have Oliver Stone be like, look, I'm Oliver Stone. I created this meme coin. And you're getting all the people that like trust Oliver Stone or think he's going to make a legit meme coin to buy. Versus being like, hey, we're a bunch of hackers. We hacked all these people's Twitter accounts. We're the people that have been like scamming people for years on Twitter. Guess what? It's us. We've created a meme coin called Hacked. Who's the buyer there? Where's the product market fit with that? You know?
Yeah, I don't know if this is the right coin, but if it is, it didn't get over 260 million market cap. But
yeah, good try, guys. Back to the drawing board at the hacker studio.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. They're like, we're gonna hack, but we're gonna do a hack with like maybe long term, like I don't know, roadmap. Like, hey,
yeah exactly. Who are we gonna hack next? We got some great guys on the list here.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. And rounding out the quick hitters, we had Jeopardy making an appearance, or it's not Jeopardy. We had Bored Apes making an appearance on Jeopardy. Did you guys see this one?
I did see that one. I didn't even know Jeopardy was still running. I thought that show went over like years ago.
But yeah, more than 100 of this blase creature's NFTs went for 24.4 million simoleons. Hayden, what are apes? Can you be more specific? Are bored apes? They are bored apes, yes.
Nice, dude. In the culture, dude.
Yep. Yeah, you know, when the Jeopardy contestants can get it, we're mainstream now.
Dude, up only from here.
Sorry for cutting you off, Sig. What were you saying at the end there?
No, yeah, sorry, my Wi-Fi has been intermittent. I thought I didn't even know Jeopardy still existed. It's not something that's broadcast over here. I don't know. I'd probably have to go to like channel 221 to find it. So when I saw that, I actually thought it was fake, and it was like somebody making content to insert Bored Apes into Jeopardy, because I thought Jeopardy finished back in the 80s. But I mean, what do I know about great American TV? Clearly not a lot. But hey, it's good. It's good to see Bored Apes in the zeitgeist. Beep. We all would have got that one, just slamming that button.
Yeah, I was surprised it made the cut, but awesome to see. I just can't watch Jeopardy anymore without Alex Trebek. I mean, Ken Jennings does a great job. He was like one of those like all-time great players, but I think it just takes a little bit of something different to be like an all-time great game host like Alex Trebek was. But while we're on the topic of apes, this was exciting news yesterday coming out of Yuga Labs. We saw them announce Top Trader, a trading simulation game on Ape Chain. Basically, it's going to be like a tournament style daily game where you can buy into this tournament. And the goal is like you use leverage trading up to like 1,000x leverage to take the top position on the leaderboard. Whoever wins gets 50% of the buy-ins, and the rest of the rewards are kind of split going down the ranks. You can rebuy if you run out of money. So it's going to be an interesting trading game. I know you were looking at this yesterday, Kix. What are your thoughts here on this game?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to play test it. I guess they did have some play tests at Token whatever 2049 Singapore. And some people like seem to like it. I think the cool things about it is it's a fully on-chain game. B, they did a lot of abstraction to make it super easy, right? So they partnered up with Privy, so you're not like, it's a seamless thing. There's gas sponsored transactions, so you're not having to worry about like having enough gas to enter the game. A lot of the friction points of playing a game on an L2, right, is like you got to bridge money over, right? Then you got to send money into the Privy wallet, right? Then you got to be like, okay, do I got enough for gas? Blah, 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 blah. They solved a lot of those. I thought one of the most interesting things is you can actually just straight up enter one of the tournaments from all of these different chains. So like you don't even have to like bridge money over to Ape Chain, then get it into your Privy wallet, then like enter a tournament. If you have money, you have dust sitting on Arbitrum, right? For example, you can just straight enter a tournament from Arbitrum. I think they're using some Privy backend technology to like facilitate that. So I thought that's really cool. They're also using Reboot GG. So for those that don't know, Reboot GG, they were on Arbitrum. Then I think they were going to go to Zai for a bit and then settled on Ape Chain. They're the people, they acquired Wolf Game, right? So they're behind Wolf Game on Blast. They're behind the Battle Plan game, which is like Pixel an auto right? battler.
It's Pixel Vault. So it's
Pixel Vault, exactly.
Reboot is Pixel Vault.
Yeah. So they Reboot GG has all of this basically. That's the wrong one. Yeah, it's Reboot right. GG. Yeah, he said that he mislinked it, so you can find it in there. But Reboot GG basically has a bunch of on-chain like infrastructure, smart contract technology for running tournaments. So basically, this game I think is like it's not a fully fledged crazy game. It's more of like a fun mini game that is showing all of the tech on Ape Chain and showing all of the technology that they have. So they're basically saying, look at this game that we built where you can run tournaments on chain, make a fully on chain game, get liquidity from all these other chains into your game without bridging and all of this other BS. So, and it's coming out of Yuga Labs now has, I forget what they've called it, but they now have this like, not incubator, but basically they said like they took the brightest minds of Yuga Labs and kind of put them in a room, and their job is to come up with these like cool and interesting experiences. This being like the first one that they built. So yeah, I think it's cool, man, for multiple reasons. One, I do like the Yuga Labs approach where they're like, hey, like we're just gonna try things, we're gonna make moves, we're not gonna, the workshop team, we're not gonna, kind of like bog ourselves down with these like 2-year-long time frames to launch things. We're going to get out. We're going to try things. It's also highlighting Ape Chain. So maybe they're going to, have a bang. Maybe all those people like Clemente buying ApeCoin will actually end up being right. We'll see. I do think that there's definitely some questions about other side, right? Because it's like, okay, if you have like, you know, kind of your best players working on workshop, who's working on other side? Beanie made that comment. So I see you scrolling, Beanie. He said something like that. But overall, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
it's interesting that they.
Go ahead, Sig.
Sorry, there might be a bit of a delay on my side. No, I think it's. I think with other side though, we know they're kind of fully commit. They're fully pop commit on that, and I wouldn't even expect that they're sorry. I think the fact that they don't to say that their brightest minds are working on it is pretty like, yeah, that's obvious that considering how much they have committed to that and how much resources they've put into it, I imagine that the team on there is top as well. And this sounds like, it sounds very Google, how kind of Google used to work where they'd have a team. This was ages ago. They'd have people being able to just kind of work on their own projects and see what happens. And then obviously interesting ideas like Gmail came out of that and other apps within the Google ecosystem that have gone to do very well. And then in the end, they created their own sort of subsidiary, which was for all the sort of fun, extravagant ideas. It kind of sounds like Workshop is Yuga's spin on this. What I like about it is you've got Dookie Dash coming out, which will go to probably a very different audience to Top Trader. Dash, I believe is it going to be on the Apple Store? I think it is. It doesn't require any crypto, doesn't require any NFTs. Anyone can play it. That has a very wide audience appeal. And then Top Trader is really speaking, I think, to the Twitter audience, the people who are like, this sounds interesting, kind of person who was probably on Blast and is thinking, yeah, why not go and check out Top Trader over on ApeChain and see what it's like. Also, what I like about this is I remember when Reboot came out, when he first came out, I had no idea what it was about, like none, completely zero. They wrote a massive thread, and if you're really super smart, you could sort of understand what Reboot actually was. Then they carried on developing, and they came out with more white papers and came out with more videos. But this actually is the first time that people. Well, I think I will see and understand what Reboot is. And that feature, which you talked about, Kicks, where you can be on another chain and not have to bridge your money over, that sounds incredibly useful and something that probably will give more incentive momentum just to give this a try, simply because you don't have to go through that process of bridging money over, which everybody strongly dislikes. So yeah, I'm going to give this a try. Why not? And I'm sure that I haven't read the whole thread, but there must be decent prizes within this. This is Yuga backed. I imagine the people who come in the top percentile will be winning substantial prizes.
Yeah, so they may have prizes on top. I think they probably will. But I think that at least some of the tournaments are like pay to enter, right? So you'll like pay $10 to play in the tournament. And then like, winner like tournament, like poker payouts, right? Like, if there's 1,000 people in the tournament, sort of like Fantasy Top, right? Based on how you finish, how hard you hit with the 1,000x leverage, on Doge.
Speaking of Dookie Dash, I just remembered it's live. It's on my phone. Just downloaded it right now. Dookie Dash.
Where did you download it
from?
from?
Today. Google Play Store.
Google Play Store. Okay, that's where it was.
I think it's available on Apple and
the
Google today worldwide. Yeah, so that's awesome.
What if they just make billions off that?
Yeah, I think they're gonna do well. But I think I don't like Beanie's take that like the focus needs to be on the other side, like without worrying about some of these killer apps that are gonna drive like users to go into other side and go on the ape chain. I think like having like clear like use cases and like fun apps, profitable apps, like things that people are going to want to actually use is super important. It's not like if you build other side, people will come and like all of a sudden build everything else inside of it. Like you need to have those use cases out. Like if this trading tool like takes off, if it brings users to ApeChain, if it brings developers to ApeChain, that's like almost a bigger win than like focusing those resources on like the development of the framework, in my opinion. Because you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you?
But Ray, we've also seen how. I was going to say we've also seen how difficult it is to build an L2 and to attract people. Like you saw all the hype that was around Blast that went away, and I'm not saying it's not going to come back, but to get people to use all these chains and to go and play a new game at this point, I feel like it appeals to people who are just like curious and just like, yeah, I want to go and like mess around with this. I think them not putting all their eggs into this particular project is probably a good thing, considering how pot committed they are to other side. And also, I mean, if I was to look at numbers, more people will probably try other side and end up playing other side than they will Top Trader. I think Top Trader is still pretty, it's pretty niche down to like down to our community. So I like that they're diversified, and at the same time, they did get rid of all the other stuff in their ecosystem where the founders came in and said, like, we're hacking the jungle. So, you know, their diversification pretty much is other side, what's happening on Ape Chain, and a few other IRL things going on.
I'll tell you what, the comments are loving it. Sir Heavybag says, I would bet that Bored Ape Yacht Club isn't around in 3 years or less. Dano C said, no revenue. Cool. And just a little context on Beanie not being the big, I don't think he was the biggest fan of Yuga Labs' other side to begin with, but Reboot GG coming to Ape Chain, he had a big falling out with Pixelvault, if you guys remember. So a little bit of maybe bad blood there, right? So not surprised that he's, talking a little shit.
Yeah, I think he was like all over Reboot when they moved to Ape Chain. He was like complaining about like,
they were chain hopping because they started on Arbitrum and then they were like, the gas is too expensive to make the game work. So then they were going to go to Zai, which is like an Arbitrum L3 and get gas sponsorships. But then they moved to Ape Chain. But seeing that, Ape Chain is trying to like push them as like, like the tournament protocol on Ape Chain, I can see why they wanted to go there, right? Maybe it's a strong, prosperous partnership.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good protocol. I remember looking into it when they released their auto battler. It does like everything you want in terms of like the framework for like a Web3 game. It does matchmaking.
It's like anything in crypto. It's a cool protocol, but you need actual use cases, right? You need actual players or whatever. So partnering up with like, they got to pick their partner, right? The one that they think that they can, whatever, cart the horse. What's that saying, right?
Attach your horse to the cart that is the lightest. That's what they say, right?
Oh, man, you're a poet.
Moving on from Yuga Labs, let's jump into this Solana phone news here. Like this is pretty interesting. I'm pretty biased as I'm a bag holder of one of these pre-orders from the first day. I missed out on the first Saga phone. Everyone got airdropped riches, so I said, you know what, I'm going to sign up for this day one. They released some news. So Solana Mobile released news about the Solana Seeker. The Seeker is the name of the new phone. It's going to feature a 6-inch display, 120 gigs of storage, has a camera. I don't know too much about on the tech side of like how good this phone is, but the price point is attractive at $450 right now. It's has blockchain integrated in it, including like Seed Vault wallet. This mobile first wallet integrates with Seed Vault for seamless self-custody. And it's built from the ground up like for Web3. They also announced like interesting partnerships. You can see like the airdrop meta probably going to heat up for this. They have a little bit of a partnership with Parallel, their Colony project. There's going to be some limited edition assets there. And then we mentioned in the weather report, Helios Labs announced Airship, which is a ZK compression tool that makes airdrops on Solana 4,000 times cheaper. So if you were airdropping to these phones before, it would cost like $40,000 to airdrop. Now it costs about $100. So interesting things there. Like I'm kind of tempted to pre-order some more, honestly. If we do see like this kind of meta, I can't wait to see like what happens.
It's better than buying all the Gary Vee books. Remember the people that bought like 100 Gary Vee books? At least a phone, you're like, there's some like utility in that. I could definitely like resell it for something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like this is like such a niche phone. Like where are you reselling this? I guess eBay. But
it would still work, right? Like you could hook it up, or like it would only like how do you pay for like 4G? Like how does that work?
I bet it's just like an unlocked SIM.
Yeah, exactly. So someone would buy that. It looks pretty cool. It's called the Seeker, dude. eBay would eat that up.
Yeah. Well, eBay.
I reckon this will get the.
You got sick.
So I was going to say, I reckon this will get MKBHD's worst phone of the year 2025, closely followed, because the previous one was his worst phone. And that guy reviews a lot of phones over the years. So to come out as the worst phone, that is saying something. Hopefully they won't get that prize next year, considering, but they raised 70 million. And it was really off the back of the momentum of the airdrops that were going to first phone. And I believe Easy and Bunny at the time had a bet that Easy would would basically earn more money in airdrops than he would have spent on the phone. I don't know how that bet ever panned out in the end, but that's why they raised 70 million, because the hype and momentum around airdrops at that time led to everybody wanting to have.
You got $200 in points already?
This isn't me. This is just their like graphic.
Oh my gosh, I was so happy for you for a second. I was like, dude, let's go, man. Like, I don't even know how you got the points or whatever. Dude, do they have a hardware wallet inside this phone?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They're using Seed Vault wallet.
That's awesome. So then when you lose your phone, you're like doubly pissed off.
Yep, exactly.
You're like, now I'm really fucked. Like when you drop it in the toilet, you're like, cool, that was $100 grand. Just dropped in the toilet. Let me go fish out this seed phrase. Hopefully I still got it.
Yeah, it's unreal. Like I remember the first phone, like even after some of the airdrops, people were selling them for like thousands of dollars on eBay.
Yeah.
People were speculating that they were going to continue to get like additional airdrops.
Crypto's wild, man. They're just buying a used phone for thousands of dollars that's already gotten airdrops because maybe it's going to get more.
Yep. The worst phone of the year. Like
worst phone of the year. Just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So we may have to do a little bit more of this today. A little more pre-order here. We'll see.
But 70 million. Let's just do some quick math. Okay. 70 million divided by 450, right? That should give us how many like unique. So they've sold 155,000. I don't know. That airdrop's starting to get a little chunky.
155K. So how many holders? Like what are we looking at here for like comparison? So we can look at Saga Monkeys. They got Saga Monkeys.
You better hope like the next bonk's dropping on it.
Well, they got airdrop bonk before, right? Isn't that what happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever, tough guy.
so they have a pretty good track record. Saga Monkeys actually pumped on the news here. You can see this little 2x on Saga.
Is that like the PFP for the phone?
Yeah, these are airdropped or like claimable by phone.
They should be careful. That's an illegal security to drop because like people are obviously speculating on the price. You can see the price went up. So
I think people are just buying
settle.
Art, honestly.
They may have to settle. Look at that. Like, look at that. Like if someone bought that, like that, they're buying that as a security. Like, you know, you can go buy a stock or you can buy one of these things. They're exact same. They're both securities.
Yeah,
someone is saying they got Mew and Maneki on their phone, on the first phone. That went.
What are those Pokemon characters?
The second phone got Mew for sure. I think the second. No, the first phone got Mew. The second phone got
Maneki.
Let me double check.
What the hell is Maneki? I feel like a boomer here. What the?
It was like a Saga phones. Flash in the pan meme coin on Solana. It's still at a $52 million market cap.
Yeah, it's a count one.
It's still at a 50. It's bigger than D-Gods. And it was just a random coin I've never heard of before.
Yeah, welcome to Solana meme coins.
What the hell is it doing? It's got a shit ton of liquidity. It's got $12 million in liquidity inside of it. 20% of its value is liquidity. This is a buy right here. Just so you, like, if you're looking at this chart, dude, like a little, like fucking double bottom wedge into a little fucking triple top breakout. Check back in 2 weeks. This will be $100 million. Maneki. Is this some Asian stuff? Is this like a Chinese Buddhist thing? Like, what is that? A cat doing a Buddhist thing on a rock?
It's the oh no, maybe I'm mixing up, but I'm pretty sure it's the lucky cat. You know, the one that does.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yeah. I've seen these in. I've seen these in like restaurants. I think
exactly. That's the one.
I mean, look at this great animation on Twitter right now. Like this is tremendous storytelling.
Is that them?
Yeah, this is them.
What is it pinned tweet? How long ago?
April 22nd.
Not too bad. Scroll down. What's their last tweet looking like engagement wise?
We're looking at 4.8K, 270 likes.
Probably all robots, but still
69
retweets.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Some stuff.
Yeah. That looks good. I'd eat whatever those are. Those little bow dumplings floating in the air. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. They kind of look like eyeballs to me.
A little Halloween themed bow dumplings.
Look at this. Like, so this thing ran up to 200 mil market cap. So if you get one airdrop of one meme coin from this phone that goes to a $200 million market cap, like, doesn't that mean you've already doubled your investment?
I think the real moneymaker thing. So you're looking at it like outside in. So I would look at it the other way. Be the meme coin airdropper.
Oh yeah. So you airdrop to the phones
Exactly.
for $100.
Exactly.
You have a nice little initial supply. Everyone's talking about it.
You sell that top wick right there. That's you. That top wick.
So
That's how
then
you get your Bugatti.
all right, then we go one level deeper. Now you're just going to be getting spammed with airdrops, and you're just going to be sitting at your phone, like claiming and selling
Your own
because everyone's
airdrop.
gonna have this idea.
You buy 1,000 phones, start claiming your own airdrops, pumping your own airdrops with your own phones.
There you go. There we go. We got deep enough there, I think. But yeah, I'm interested in this. Like I'm not interested in it from a tech perspective, but I'm interested in it from like a making money perspective. And I think it's like bullish that the tech is like it's almost like a proof of concept for future phones. Like if like some of this tech can be like sold or put into like more mainstream Android, I think would be where it would kind of go first.
Well, I mean, I think the technology is that you literally the phone prints you money. Tony1188 in the comments said I pre-ordered the new Solana phone as soon as they put it on sale for $400, and he's already made $600 in airdrops. I don't even know how that's possible. He doesn't even have his phone. He's getting airdrops. They're just airdropping it to his address.
We put our wallet in. I think we got that Maneki airdrop.
That's phenomenal tech, dude. Like, imagine Apple. You go buy an Apple phone for $2,000 and they give you $2,500 back. Everyone would be like, "This is the craziest thing of all time." That's what Solana innovation does.
Yeah. Who's buying like these tokens? Like, oh yeah,
They got to be real mouth breathers on the other side, huh?
It's definitely interesting.
I own
Who are
Maneki.
those people? We need a special segment. We need to interview the people on the other side. We should call it the people on the other side.
I had the Maneki token for a while, but actually, you know what? This might seem absolutely ridiculous. This whole like buying a phone for the token, but it did work. And I think, given the environment that we're going into, and further interest rate cuts are likely to be coming this year and going into 2025. It's just being set up that the whole macro situation is probably going to be a little bit positive, optimistic. We see number go up. In that current environment, meme coins are doing well. Once you get that momentum, stuff gets being airdropped to phones. There'll be demand either for the phone or for the tokens on it. So you know what, Ray, if you paid $400, I'm pretty sure you're going to make it back and be profitable, like actually realize profit, not like, I have this token on my phone right now. It's $3, but the time you get your phone, it's $0. That's not the whole idea. But I think once you get it delivered to your door, it's probably going to be at the right time in 2025. So wish you the best of luck, Ray, on the phones.
Yeah, I'm excited about it personally. And like on the topic of meme coins, like I went to my meme coin dashboard today and just everything is absolutely cooking. Here's a little inside look at my personal watch list here. Everything up, like everything on this list is up like 25 to 30%, outpacing the majors. Some of the main leaders, Andy on ETH. We have MF coin on base. That's a blast from the past. That's up 50%. Nero. So like this is the original Nero. We were talking a bit before the show, me and Kix, about like this coin. This is the one that didn't get listed on Binance. This pumped an additional 50% yesterday. I think there's some sort of like rumor going around that like Coinbase may list this one, which is like interesting. Coinbase versus Binance, like which Nero is the right Nero? I can only imagine like the perception of
it's like red pill, blue pill,
Exactly.
China or USA. Well, I guess he's not even China anymore. He can't go to China, and he got arrested in the United States. This guy's a man without a home.
Yeah,
he's a no man's land in Canada.
Yeah, he probably should take the spaceship to Mars, Elon's first one, and create like $1 billion, new empire there.
Yeah, chart here.
But that's a great rumor.
Yeah, that's what. But I mean, these rumors are probably coming from bag holders. So like, we see
100%.
Huge sell off here, like with the announcement, and then we just had a nice little pump off the bottom. So every Nero pumping, like this is beginning to feel like we're getting a little crazy in terms of like what's actually pumping. We have Pepe, the Chinese Pepe token, pumping 46%. Nub Blast Pass up 38%. Popcat was a huge mover.
This is what happens. I mean, Popcat's an exception because, as we said before the show, Popcat has, even despite like summer being brutal for a lot of coins, it wasn't for Popcat. Popcat's chart, it was still in an upwards trend the entire time. So like, look at that, right? Like, look, you could just draw a little, nick line. No, at the bottom, that first bottom dip. Yeah, get it down there at that bottom dip and draw it on all the dips. Right. That's the bull. That's been in a straight right there. Yeah. See? Something like that. Like that's been in a straight bullish uptrend the entire time. So not surprised to see that pumping. But in general, when things are more optimistic after like a long drawdown, the stuff like the alt stuff always pumps the hardest. And some of the setups are good. I did a video last week where I sprayed Evian water spray all over my face and talked about the alt setups looking pretty good. But like relative, like if you held it over summer, you're still probably down a massive amount. But if you've been buying over the past couple of weeks, it's been a hell of a trade. And yeah, it's going to be a big next like week or two to see if we get like continuance and follow through. If this is a big turnaround moment and the majors really start showing some strengths, then a lot of these alts do have the potential to like rip even more than what we saw today. Rip hard.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at like just the top coins in general, like everything green pretty much. I'm trying to figure out, so like meme coins move, like what's next? I was looking at some DPIN, some AI, but everything today is just up. So it's like hard to like really pick any kind of winner like after a pump. I mean, it's a lot easier to look back and say like, oh, why didn't we throw more in? But
we
were worried about the rate cuts.
Yeah, you got to figure out like what the sector rotation. Look at that beam up 26%. Like what the sector rotation is going to be to, right? Like we are getting into Q4. Could it be into gaming? I mean, AI definitely makes sense. DPIN makes sense, but DPIN's been hot, my understanding, for like the last 2 months already. So like you wouldn't really think like it could be a follow through, but not really a sector rotation. Yeah, so we'll have to like wait and see. I mean, what's wild to me is that Bitcoin is really like 10-15% off of like this cycle's all-time high, right? 73K, right? So let's call it 15%. But you have like ETH down still, even after this pump, down like 40%, right? Also that this chart is wild. I still, I don't know. People talk about 4-year cycles. Show me another cycle where we saw any sort of price action like this. This is very interesting price action over the last 6 months. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's still trending down.
Trending down. Yes, trending down for now. But given what we know, what was announced yesterday, essentially they came out and said they didn't say specifically, but it looks like the economy is doing well. Inflation is heading where we want it to be, which is closer to 2%. The labor market isn't bad, not perfect, but it's not bad. And so what he said what they're trying to do is to prevent a bad economy to start, right? So they're really highlighting how great the economy is right now. And we know there's going to be more rate cuts. So trending down, yes, for now, but do we really think this is going to keep going? And this is just off the 50, what Easy said a couple of weeks ago, which he read in someone's tweet, and I can't remember who he said it was, but over the last 4 years, the Fed has raised somewhere like 550 basis points, and all they did yesterday was cut 50. So they have a lot of space to run on this, and it just feels like would be trending down be the direction we're going if we know more rate cuts will be coming in the future. A lot of people smarter than me have been saying 2025 is sort of the year where they imagine we'll see a number go up and more risk on assets. And I kind of agree with them, to be honest. I think this is basically turning into everything that Easy's been really saying on the show for what feels like 12 months and more now, that this will basically tee us up for a nice little run into the election. 2025 Q1 still looking good. And then from there, who knows? But I don't know. It just feels good. I feel like Bitcoin potentially could go near its all-time high. No, I'm not saying it's going to break it, but could definitely trend towards its all-time high again. There's nothing really at this point in time to pull us back down to the low 50s, even though we're hearing from other people like Arthur Hayes saying that's totally different and we're going to be seeing more of a crash. I don't really understand where that crash comes from if the Fed, who is essentially the most important voice in the economy, is signaling that they're going to continue to cut. That's my 2 cents on what is going on in the economy for the last bit of Q4.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with the rate cuts. It looks like, I mean, like we said earlier, the favorites are, you know, two single cuts, one in November, one in December.
Mhm.
But I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's impossible. There's a lot of hindsight 2020 if something happens or if nothing happens, right? Like if something does pop and everything starts to unwind, you have a bunch of people that'll say, "I told you so." If that doesn't happen and we continue just to pump up, there'll be a bunch of people that said, "I told you so." You know what I mean? Like you really gotta make your own decision, make the moves that you think are the best. Like I sold a lot of my ETH and my alts. I still own my Bitcoin. Yesterday we were talking after the show. Signal was like, dude, Bhutan owns 1% of Bitcoin. That's bullish to me. I was like, honestly, that is bullish. So I have been considering, you know, chipping some of the cash. I'm like 50% cash right now, chipping some of the cash into Bitcoin. But I don't know, just I still feel a little bit cautious. Especially, you know, the past 2 years, the S&P is up almost 100%. Like, think about that. The S&P, right? That averages about 10% a year. Um, so I wonder how much more can it run? I mean, it could still go further, right? 100%. It could still go further, but that's a massive run in the last 2 years. Um, even without a crash, it's just like, hey, do we just kind of chop down, chop back up, chop down, chop back up until that kind of like gains normalize over time or highs? I mean, look at these charts, right? You can definitely still be bullish here, but those are some vertical looking charts.
I just think don't overthink it, Kicks. Like I really think so. I think maybe because we know we do this show every day, we end up just overthinking the daily rather than just thinking more about the future and where the S&P, like you said, it keeps going up, and even when it comes back down and it's had hard crashes, it continues to recover. And
Mhm.
not to blow my own toot, but I will. One of my friends is a trader in a hedge fund, and a
Mhm.
couple of years ago, he has a kid, and a couple of years ago, I was making a joke that I bet I could basically outperform his fund that he works at. And the way I
Mhm.
would demonstrate it is because I'm very good friends. I'm the godmother to their kid,
Oh, awesome.
which is about, they're like 3 years old. I said I would open like a junior fund. It's like a baby fund you can do in the
Yeah.
UK for kids. And I will see if the fund outperforms. And he said, you can put, and I said, it's open strategy. I'm allowed to do whatever I want. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not going to overthink this because he could beat me on fees because I'm doing this as retail. He obviously works institutional.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all I did was put when I saw all the money, it was like $5,000, if not less. All I did was put that money into a global equity fund. That's it. One fund, global
And you just
equities.
out traded him in that.
I have outperformed. I have outperformed the hedge fund. Okay, and it's not. By no means am I saying I am Warren Buffett or anything like that. I don't think of myself as a good trader, but I do think that sometimes in trading we overthink things, and you just have to be like over a long enough horizon, the equity markets will do what essentially they've done for many decades now.
100%.
So I feel like these little swing backs that we see, or like when it overheats, it just keeps on trending going up.
100% agree with that, especially on the stocks. And you're right. Like most people, myself, I know 100%. I'm not a stock picker. So like if I like my 401k, all that stuff, it's like into the index funds because then I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to manage it. I don't have to think about it at all. I guess my point more so is like, if the index funds aren't going to run like they ran, can crypto run despite what the index funds do over the next year? The interesting thing with Bitcoin is with the rate cuts, right? Because we always talk about with Bitcoin specifically, rate cuts being bullish, right? Because like more money getting printed is essentially what people think when they think about rates getting cut. Although logically, I'm not sure if that makes sense because higher interest rates means more money is getting printed. Lower interest rates, right? Like you need printing on top of it. Anyways, beside the point. Excited to see the like where we go from here, but I'm still a little bit. I want to see the next week or two play out. with these rate cuts, because we get lots of head fakes on things. We get, I'm not completely sold, but let's see. The stock market looks great. Nasdaq's up a decent chunk, and S&P's up a decent chunk, a couple of percentage points each. So nice bounce back day today. Yesterday it was looking like a little weak, and that's what I was saying on the show yesterday. Like, the people that are behind these things, they want to fucking head fake you so hard, right? Like, if they think it's bullish, they're going to let it bleed out, right? And make you panic. And then they're going to go kadoosh. So we got NASDAQ up 2%, S&P up 1.5%. So the market so far in the short term, definitely liking the rate cuts. But what this shows me as well, this pump right here, it shows me how correlated crypto is right now to the stock market. Like, they're very much correlated right now. Someone showed a graph over the last year and a half of Bitcoin compared to, I think it was NASDAQ. And the correlation's undeniably strong. So we'll rise and fall together likely.
I think it stays rosy until the election. Like the general markets. I think it's within the Democrats' interest for that economy to look as rosy as possible, and then after that, it doesn't need to look well. After that, it can basically crumble. But I think until November, things are going to just look lipstick on a pig.
I think on the equities, but here's the thing I don't get about, because there's always conspiracy theories on Twitter and everything like that. But like, one of the conspiracy theories, people are like, oh, Jerome Powell's like cutting 50 basis points to try to help Kamala win the election. I'm a conspiracy theory guy. You all know that. That makes zero sense to me, because that, like, cutting 50 basis points, that's not making like groceries cheaper by November. You know what I mean? It can make the stock market and like crypto and Bitcoin go up, but they're already at all-time highs, like the S&P and the NASDAQ, right? So I think most of the people in America, like, their 401k going up by another 5% isn't swinging their vote. My point being is, I do think that Jerome Powell and the Feds are generally making these decisions independently based on data and what they think is the best move. I don't think that they're doing this to play funny games with the election. What's this chart?
Yeah, I do.
See,
I do think that they're playing funny games. Yeah, because I think they want. Okay, it might not affect. Okay, what will happen is that you have a wealth effect. You have a psychological wealth effect that when your 401k goes up by 5%, and I know, for us, 5% is, but for the little man or little woman or person on the street, that 5%, when they start their day, they're in the green. They're in the green. So psychologically, when you go to buy your groceries, you might be like, you know what? Maybe I feel good. I'll spend a bit more. I feel a little bit more richer today. And it just has a good, it basically gives voters a good feeling rather than seeing 5% in the red. That makes voters feel less wealthy. So I do think there is a bit of a sort of a wealth psychology play here, because it does change the outlook of whether you feel wealthy or whether you feel poor for that week, or when you're buying gas. When you go to buy gas and you already think your 401k is down, and now you're going to be spending however many cents on the dollar to be able to fill up the tank, it makes a difference. So that's my
gas is down over here, 10%. We're at $3. We may go sub $3. Haven't seen a 2 at the gas station in a while, so that I am liking very much. I'll tell you what.
See, look at you. See, you're already happy about gas. You're already happy about gas.
That ain't because of Kamala. She don't want to let fracking. She don't like fracking. She don't like energy. She doesn't like nuclear. She wants solar power. I can't power my car on solar. I got a gas guzzler. No, but yeah, for real. I know what you're saying. 100%. Like, if you're new all-time highs on your retirement count, as Tristan said, you feel good.
Yeah, I think it's like it is more of that like divide we talked about. I think you talked about like 30-70% where you have the people who have their retirement accounts, they are doing fine, stocks are pumping, but then you're seeing, every day, like, people who are like living paycheck to paycheck, going to the grocery store, having to pay more, not like earning money. Like, they can't save because the prices go up, and they're not earning money like passively with investments. Like, that's who's really struggling right here. And something's going to have to to give in that scenario to kind of like flip that.
Yeah, and they would be happy if FDR didn't scam them with Social Security. If that part of their paycheck was going to a 401k, they'd be fucking. Kamala would win by 80%, dude. She'd have 300. She'd get 42 states, dude, because everyone would be like, "Let's go." Fucking FDR, dude. He stole the gold too, man. Stole everybody's gold. Better watch out. Better not put your Bitcoin on Coinbase, man.
Yep. That's the one thing you got to be careful with. Not your keys, not your crypto. So
yeah,
if you're using a
you ever seen that meme, Ray, where it's like, "Are you hiding a ledger under your floorboards? Are you not?" It's from Inglourious Bastards. You know, the beginning scene when he's trying to, see if they're hiding anyone. Yeah. Are you hiding a seed phrase underneath your floorboards? No, sir. I don't have any Bitcoin here. Please don't seize my Bitcoin to fund your new dollar.
Yeah, so I'm just going to segue just immediately from that. Sorry, Kicks.
Yeah, no.
I don't have a good
too.
Speaking of hiding seed phrases under the floorboards, let's jump over to Web3 gaming, where we have a live look or a first look at Parallel Alpha's FPS game. I don't know if you've seen this yet, Kicks. I know you're a big Web3 gamer, but this is a pretty cool little trailer they had here. Looks interesting. Like they feel like they're going in so many different directions right now with like their AI, their TCG, and now this game. Like how much do you know about this ecosystem, and like are you bullish? Like is this a buy going into like potentially like gaming heating up on a new cycle here?
Great question. Couple thoughts. Like one is I'm always a believer that like it's the new stuff that pumps the hardest every cycle. Like Parallel, yes, they had been around before. They were around in 2021 just on the NFT side, but their token, if I recall correctly, like launched in late 2022 or early 2023. So like it was their token's first cycle in the last run, right? And it captured the zeitgeist. I would think that other tokens would have the potential to pump harder. I think if gaming as a sector runs, this will definitely run. I'm a big fan of the Parallel guys and everything that they're doing. It's at 1 billion FTV. Man, they must have had a shit ton of unlocks. Because I remember that. Oh, no, it's not at 1 billion. Oh, FTV billion. Yeah, market cap 426. Yeah, okay, yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. I do agree with you. The concern of doing too many different things. Like generally in gaming, right? Like you will have a successful, really big breakout game, right? And then you'll go make your next game, right? It's very, very unusual for a studio to not have a breakout game and already be working on another game. They also could just have a fuck ton of money and like it's just sitting there. So they're like, might as well start working on another game because we have, 10 years of burn. Which would be like understandable. But my point being is like, you would have liked to see like Parallel card game beginning like, to a Hearthstone level of popularity. And then they're like unveiling their next game. But now they have this game. They have the Colony game, which is like their AI sim game. And then they have this game. So they have one game that's out in beta, 2 more games in the pipeline. In Parallel, despite I think it's a fun card game. I really do think it's a fun card game, but I don't think that it's really broken in from like a daily active user count in any significant way, shape, or form. So from like a narrative perspective, sure, I think it'd be cool and bullish. It kind of looks like a Destiny style game, third person shooter, kind of, shoot and loot, kind of like a Halo. But I'm not sure, like from a fundamental perspective, I'm not sure like working on it now a third game before the second game's even out into alpha and the first game's even like out of beta and popular, I think is aggressive, but also I think probably not like unusual for crypto. This seems like a very crypto like thing to do. But I'm a big fan of the guys and I made some good money on Prime. So I wish them the best of luck.
Yeah, I feel like they're in an interesting spot too. Like they're really deep into the AI side of things. So like they could potentially be like a beta bet on both Web3 gaming and AI. I think that AI.
The problem is that their AI plays almost on that Wayfinder token now, Prompt.
Right. Yeah. So
I mean, you can buy Prime to stake into Prompt, but you're kind of late on that play. I think that play started in like May of this year. around when GDC was, because one of my buddies is an investor in them, and he said that he staked all of his prime for Prompt because he said
right
it's
around here.
they're either all fucking going to zero or I'm going to make a bunch of money on Prompt. Is basically what he said. So
Yeah,
but 922 is like a good pump off the bottom. It was down at $6, I think, for a while. Maybe
Oh
even
yeah,
lower.
yep. Yeah, I always have things switched on market
Yeah,
cap.
you're on the market cap. It's blowing my mind here. Did it go down to 4? 5.
Yeah, just under 5.
What's a 2x off the lows? Chart.
Yeah,
doesn't
I'm
look bad.
interested. I'm definitely interested. I'm interested to see, like, I think AI, crypto, and gaming, like, I think like those could, like, that those 3 buzzwords, they kind of have all 3. And like we've been seeing more and more like AI agents like pop up. I don't know if you saw this, like this new app that was like going viral with it was like your own like AI playground on social media, where you basically like can post and then AI generated personas like interact with you. And
You,
can,
you don't even have to use this app to do that. You can just literally post on Twitter.
yeah, right. Exactly.
About 80% of your replies will be this. It
I
was
thought-
insane, dude. I was reading a post yesterday and I scrolled through and I saw someone write something. And I was like, that take doesn't make any sense. And then 3 comments down, it was the exact same take rewritten. And I looked at both their profiles and they both had like Trump getting shot as their banner. I'm like, this is a bot network, 100%. Like, this is like AI bot. It's insane when you think about how much that's shaping social media influence. It's just fake stuff. But anyways, not to derail. Yeah, the AI stuff is big. Once again, like Prime was always really good from a narrative play, right? Like in last year, they really ran on like the gaming narrative, right? And then they ran on the Colony AI narrative. That's what took them to $22, right? Was the Colony AI narrative. So you're right. They have all of the stuff for the narrative play. Now it's just a question of like, will it actually be like the leader in the pump? But I'm big on like AI on chain stuff, 100%. I recommend anyone that's really into gaming, especially like nerdier. Yeah, look at Prime, 20%. That's awesome. Especially nerdier, like economy management kind of stuff. Look into Eve Frontier. So like Eve Frontier, they got a shit ton of money invested in them. Eve Online's been one of like the longest like massively multiplayer online game in existence. They've been around for 20 plus years. So basically like a World of Warcraft, a little bit smaller, like player size or whatever, right? These guys are basically taking Eve Online and they're building it on chain called Eve Frontier, right? And the game is 100% fully on chain. And how they're making it is they've basically like, there's immutable rules in the game, like speed and like fuel cost, right? And like raw materials, how they're made. There's things that are like baked in that are like the physics laws that can't be like adjusted. If you go up to the top, there's some cool visuals all the way up to the top, and you go maybe build or discover, discover about the frontier.
Slick website.
Right. And basically people are going to be able to like build things with smart contracts that like live as like objects in the universe. So like, for example, you could code a like automated enemy turret firing system, and and you can sell that to other people and they can put it next to their space stations, and it is coded to just automatically shoot missiles at anyone that's detected as an enemy, right? But then there's like physics that they've built in, like the missile that gets shot out will go at a certain speed, right? The amount of missiles that this turret can hold is going to be based on like kind of like the physics behind it. Anyways, what I think is like really wild about this is like people have talked about like autonomous worlds and fully on-chain games for a while, but like this is one of the best game studios in gaming to build one of these kind of things. And they're building, and you notice they don't mention crypto once on this. They just call it like open architecture. I think they mentioned that it was like coded in Solidity. That's the closest they get to calling this crypto. They don't mention crypto at all. And if you go on Reddit and you go in their Discord, there's a bunch of people really excited about it, like gamers, which is rare for a crypto game, right? Because normally they're like, ew, crypto, this is gross or whatever. And I think the reason why this is different is one, Eve is like absolutely legitimate. This would be like if Blizzard said they were building something on chain, right? Like it's a legitimizer. They're like, these guys are legit. They're not scammers, right? And then secondarily, they're not like screaming crypto in your face. They're just saying this is like an online kind of thing. But like when we're just talking about like parallel colony, I've had ideas for that kind of stuff. As soon as I heard eFrontier was coming out, I was like, no chance. 0% chance. It'd be smarter to build on eFrontier because that's the whole thing. You're going to be able to build smart contracts that can do automated trading, or you can build a smart contract that makes a ship fly back and forth, picking up resources and sending resources back, right? And they mention in this that they're like, these types of games and just the future of gaming is going to be botted heavily. And so they've created systems in their game so that players can keep up, so that players can automate tasks, so that you're not like behind a bot that's running 24/7. You as a player can automate like, hey, I'm going to have my spaceship just go back and forth between these two space stations and pick up stuff and drop it off, right? Ryan said, how do we get involved? Play or buy a token or a stock? I do know there will eventually be a token for this game. So if you play the game in a very big way, you will probably get an airdrop of some way, shape, or form. There will likely be a token for this game. But play or buy token. Yeah, buy token. I don't think their stock's publicly traded. But I think the other big thing, there's a play test this weekend or like in the next couple of days that'll last for 2 weeks. So I would 100% sign up on their website for the play test and at least just like check it out for a little bit. There could be a reward for that, or at least you could familiarize yourself for it. I'm personally going in and I'm getting a lot of people in our game studio to go in and look at this and check it out. Cause I think from a creation standpoint, what they've built is probably really exciting. I also think if you go back in time to like Axie Infinity guilds, this thing has the potential to like really fucking cook when we're talking about like guilds doing things and like you solo or with a group figuring out things like you like basically like your guild, you could have like an engineer, like a Solidity engineer, right? And then like, you know, your PvP strategist, like futuristic job roles that sound kind of like fun and badass. But I do think it's really possible for this because like in EVE Online, there's spaceships that are worth over $100,000. Like of real money. Yeah. Like
they don't even like beat around the bush here. They're saying like there's going to be an EVE token. It's a utility token that can be exchanged as a means of external value. They're just going like they're saying like this can be used to for
and
real
they're
money.
In Europe, dude. CCP, I want to say they're like in fucking Finland or location. And the weirdest name ever, right? CCP, because it sounds like the China Communist Party, and I always get thrown off. No, they're in Iceland. Reykjavik, Iceland, dude. So crypto's fine in Iceland, dude. They're not worried about it. They're like, yeah, we're launching a fucking token. Fuck off, you know? But yeah, dude, I think if you're a gamer or if you like are excited about building things in gaming, I think this could be like the potential big one, like the potential like next Axie Infinity, where you have like people building smart contracts that like create new spaceships or create new things, and they're selling those to people. And then you have people like playing the trading game on the resources front, right? So you could be like an NFT speculator, right? Like you could be like, oh wow, like these mining spaceships are undervalued because if you understand X, Y, and Z, you'll know that this new sector is going to need a bunch of mining ships, right? So I'm going to buy them low and flip them high. Like I think that if this thing takes off, it's an if. I'm not saying any of this is a guarantee. I downloaded their GitHub repo and I ran it through Claude just to like understand what they're building and stuff like that. And it's fucking legit. Basically, yet they've built on chain like a world of rules, like things that can't change, like just like in real life, like the speed of light, right? Like or gravity, right? Those are like rules that govern our world, but then you can build whatever you can as long as they live within those rules, right? Like you and I can't just make shoes that make us jump in the air to space, right? Because that defies the law of gravity. So they've built a digital physics, they call it, into the infrastructure, like into the smart contracts. But then as long as you do things that fit in the law of physics, you can literally build anything on top. You can build new spaceships, you can build new weapons, you can build whatever the fuck you want. You can be a digital Elon Musk.
One question, Kix. Do you have to have a PC to play this?
Great question. Great question. I would like to think that the Icelanders are non-denominational. but I'm not sure. Okay,
Because Kicks, you're always good for putting like really, I don't call it strange, but stuff that not many people are looking at. You have an eye for this kind of stuff to just sort of bringing it to people's attention. And this sounds really interesting. So unfortunately, a lot of these games are PC or they start off PC and then afterwards they then expand. But this looked great. This piques my interest considering everything you've just said. And I will definitely play it if I can. I don't have a PC, unfortunately, but
yeah, let me see if it's a PC game. Nope, Windows or Mac. They're non-denominational these days. Yeah, so you can play it on Mac. But the cool thing is, because like when I ended my first startup, I was like, dude, I'm gonna take a month and do nothing and just play video games. I played EVE Online for like 12 hours a day for like a month. It's super fucking nerdy, right? Like it's definitely super fucking nerdy, but you don't actually like have to play the game, if that makes sense. You could just like play the marketplace within the game, which is still playing the game, right? Like point being, like in World of Warcraft, you could go and you could level up to 60 and you can grind all these dungeons and you can go do PvP. But there was people that would just sit in the auction house. Same with like RuneScape. They would just sit in the auction house and they would just trade. They were just traders. They didn't give a crap about leveling or anything like that. You'll be able to do that in this game too. So I think a lot of people that are good at trading tokens or NFTs and stuff like that, you know, would also probably do good in this digital economy.
What's super interesting to me is when you have a game that's built on the blockchain, like once this is like released, it doesn't have like the like fear of like a sunset date as you do for like some of these other like ongoing games that are maintained by a game studio. Like this lives on in perpetuity. Like
exactly.
So it's crazy.
And people can build stuff in like take almost like mini games in different directions, right? Or all sorts of things that like you can't really do with EVE Online because you don't have access to the code base, right? But like imagine you build some sort of like fighter mini game within it where like people load in ships and they like battle for a prize or whatever, and you can just build that on top. Like the sky's really the limit. Like
yeah, super interesting. I'm definitely I registered for their pre like email list and put on notifications. So definitely get check this out. I'm gonna have to hit you up when this goes live and go.
I know, right? We'll play together. If I was worth tens of millions of dollars, I would have gotten into the round, the investment round on this. Unfortunately, I'm not. One day maybe, but I would have put 500K into this. If I had $10 million liquid, I would have put 500K into this.
Love it. Definitely one to watch. And then I'll keep you guys updated as this kind of moves out on the show. Because it definitely seems like an interesting play and one that probably is going to go behind the scenes for a while. Because I haven't even heard of this, and this is like,
yeah,
I know how big EVE is, and it's definitely a very cool concept.
This is probably like a 2025 launch kind of thing, and they're not like launching the token 6 months before the game is out, right? Like they're probably it's going to come out when it comes out. They got a shit ton of money. I think they raised $40 million for this alone, on top of just their own EVE Online revenue, which is massive. So this is going to be fucking legit, but it's going to take some time. But yeah, let's do the play test together. It'd be cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Do some market research so we can form our guild. We have to figure out, like, what is our guild going to do? Are we going to transport, or are we going to PvP?
I mean, what's the name? I mean,
exactly. What's the name?
The most important part here. We got to come up with a good one. I don't know if I can do one on the spot, but I'll have to do some.
I'm bad with names.
Doodling over the next couple of days. Make sure we reserve it too. No one else can take it.
Exactly.
That's the most important part. But, we're going overtime here. Kashmir says, loves how the space is going overtime daily while we have the replacement crew in. Yeah, we love to talk Web3. We're here for you. But that's going to wrap it for our show. Thanks to everyone who's been listening. Thanks to the commenters. Thanks to everyone listening on Twitter Spaces. We're going to wrap here. We'll see you guys tomorrow. You can catch our podcast. You can rewatch our podcast, re-listen to our podcast, watch it on YouTube. You can listen to it on all major podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, etc. But that's going to do it for today.
Can I just say a quick closing thought?
Yes, do it.
Okay, I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin.